How's it going, people? Slappy here. It is Monday, which means update day. Also, in case you haven't noticed and you need it, the Nomads Elegy guide is up on the channel now. Uploaded it a little bit earlier on today. Either way, updates and the patch notes. It is Monday, so we see the invention tech tree get updated today. So they're going to be adding the dwarf and the goblin tech tree as a bit of an update to both. So to actually unlock these, you get it at 40 invention. You need to speak to Drawcar to align yourself with the dwarfs, or Oldak to align yourselves with the goblins. Pretty straightforward. They've added some tasks which you can randomly get from each of the invention areas, and if you side with the dwarven or goblins, you'll gain currency for that particular tier. Also, you're going to unlock new blueprints and etc, etc. There's tasks which you can accept via those notice boards, and you can have 5 active at any one time, and your new task will generate every 12 hours. It'll typically include things like handing in components or parts or building basic items as well as gizmos. Additionally, there's no longer a 20 level penalty when unlocking devices on the tech tree that you are not aligned to. However, alignment to a particular tech tree will now provide you with 50% more currency when completing its relevant task. So there is that. So new devices, some of the new things they got on you. For the dwarf, you got a calorie bomb which will store fish within the device and then explode, and basically give an instantaneous AoE hit for healing. So there we go. You'll also get the kinetic cyclone, which is basically a dwarf multi-cannon but a melee version. So you can pop it down and anything close within the vicinity will just get battered. On your goblin tree, you got a bank stander, which is some kind of device you can deploy in a bank area or near the bank, and it'll explode and do something. They decided not to tell us, so meh. Try it out, let me know. You also got the electrified trap, which you can use for hunting, and basically it'll help you out with that. More or less, that's pretty much it. So those are the tech updates and whatnot for Invention. It's your goblin and dwarven updates for Inventor. So Solomon Store's got another outfit. If you want to go like full eagle, then feel free, that's there. We've got some streams coming up tomorrow, 4 o'clock. You've got the dev Q&A about Kindred Spirits, which is the new Barrows quest, which should be out next week, as well as the Void Outpost rework, and they'll have a little sneak preview of that, so you can check that shit out. And then 8 o'clock tomorrow as well, you've got the Invention Tech Tree 101, so they'll go through all that nonsense. And then Sunday, you'll PVM in with Modley. So there we go. Also, they now have a winner for the NXT screenshots, as this one right here, of Castle Draken, job done. And that leaves us with the patch notes. So, graphical wise, the water area surrounding Ashtil during the Shadow over Ashtil quest has now been expanded. Yay. Players can no longer see their aquarium in the distance in a player-owned house in NXT. The Abyssal Charm icon is now visible in NXT, and Agarth's ship will no longer flicker within NXT. A black box that was sticking out of the wall in the Fearing DLS cave has been fixed. Elder Pyre-logs can now be more easily distinguished from magic Pyre-logs when cremating via watches. The loose railing at the combat training camp no longer defies the laws of physics, and Lucky Bandos Tassets now have cloth to match the non-lucky variants. The animation played when smithing on the Barbarian anvil near Odo's house, or Otto's house, has been updated. Some stretched textures on the interior walls of the Artisan's workshop's now been fixed, and an issue with the minimap within Privithinus Tower of Voices has now been resolved. On to your skills in your minigames then. The minigames tracker interface will now correctly register if a player has a clue scroll within their bank, and the daily and monthly D&D reset token interface has now been updated. On to your quests, a spelling arrow within While Gothic Sleeps has now been fixed, and the Ring of Recall now works properly against the skeletons that appear within the Smoke and Kills quest. Now for your miscellaneous goodness, what we got? Rare items received as a drop in Loot Share and Group Share now send a player broadcast. NPCs that have been stunned by another NPC will now become immune to non-player stuns for 10 seconds, up from 3. And the duration of the barricaded building now scales accordingly to the equipped shield's level. Heal Other and Heal Group will now deal damage to the player while under the effect of barricade. And the Intercept tooltip now states that it has 3-second duration instead of 10. Blackjacks now respect stun immunity. Tumbleweed, Scully, Squirks, the Parrot and the Hype Train have been added to pets interfaces. The tooltip for Vindicta kill times now shows the correct time for hard mode on the Beast interface. The correct messages is now displayed when checking time remaining on an expired Heart of Gillen or bossing instance, and a typo in Robber from the Darkness Part 1 has now been fixed. Feral Vampire Fangs have been removed from the Grand Exchange, and changing between Legacy and non-Legacy interface modes will no longer change the combat XP options. A grammar issue encountered when using up the last charges of a Spirit Gem has now been fixed, and drinking Dwarven Stout from a keg now lowers the defense stat. Additionally, messages now correctly refer to the currency pouch when the money pouch cannot be accessed. And that leaves us with your engine update and the old ninja fixes. Let's see what we got. So Farquaad the Cleaner has finally got around to tidying up the remnants of GnomeCopter Local farmers have taken advantage of this by moving in more of their cows. Congratulations to Varg's own Max, the Bravinus Ellen and Tirth, who have actually reached a high enough level in invention in order to wear their max capes again. The message stating the familiars are too large to fit in the current area is now less prone to spam you, and players can now drop below 1250 in Conquest without losing the trimmed comp cape requirement. Rune metrics for Iron Man characters now uses high alchemy values when determining stack values for monster drops. Tusker mask pieces now only drop while on a Slayer task, but now stack within your inventory. A total reward value has been added to the Miscellanea Kingdom interface. A right-click option has been added to the coal bag while using the bank to directly empty its contents. Added an extra confirmation when attempting to hand in warband supplies for cash rather than XP. And some confirmation prompts formerly shown when entering a next in the layer Agarath have now been removed. And last but not least, the following changes have been made to Holy Water. Players can now create enchanted vials faster by using empty vials on the Book of Binding. Enchanted vials no longer drains magic levels or prayer points. The magic XP for enchanting has been lowered from 5 to 1 to compensate for the above changes. Hollow reeds are no longer destroyed when used to siphon from the pure water pool. Adding pure water to enchanted vials to create holy water now uses the Make X system. Holy water now carries the stats and equip requirements of a level 50 dart, but with a reduced damage and accuracy modifier versus demons. And last but not least, the engine/NXT fixes. A potential cause of heap corruption crashes has now been fixed. Walking bosses will no longer cause them to jump in front of you within NXT. An issue where the client would open many tabs in your browser when an error forced it to close has now been fixed. Support's also been added for more parts of the overworld to be disguised better within NXT by substituting in parts of the map where nothing is really there. This basically makes it look like they're not floating within the middle of nowhere, for example your player owned house atrium. Water distortion, formerly seen at the edges of foreground objects in certain camera angles, has now been sorted out, and a billboard scaling mismatch with Java has now been fixed. And last but not least, party hats now change colours when performing the party hat fire making animation. Job done. So that is pretty much everything that's coming up today. Those are your patches, fixed a few things, nothing major, nothing massive, just basic fixes more than anything else. And the update is basically to Inventor only. Next week you'll have the new Barrows quest, and hopefully I'll have that up on day of release, so look forward to that shit. And if you haven't done Nomads Elegy, that guide is up on the channel, so get it done, son. Get it done. Till next time, catch you all later. Have a good one.